Good evening. We present the news summary. A cluster of COVID-19 cases have been detected at the Seychelles Hospital. The Ministry of Health is investigating the outbreak, and the healthcare agency has imposed stricter measures to contain the situation.
Of the 13 people who have contracted the coronavirus while at the Seychelles Hospital are 4 health workers and 9 patients admitted on the male medical ward and the Dauphin ward. This has been reported 2 days after the first positive test of the virus came in. Since then, the healthcare agency has been implementing its standard operating procedures, SOPs, to manage the spread of the virus within the hospital. It includes regular testing of health staff in all care areas, as well as tightened access to the hospital facilities by visitors.
The 4 members of staff works on male medical ward. That's where the 4 patients that tested positive. On the other side, the Dauphin ward, there's 5 patients who tested positive. So until now, currently, we don't have any staff tested positive on Dauphin ward. What we're doing now is testing everyone in the hospital, in the compound of the hospital, on the wards, so that we screen, in fact, to see if there's any people that will test positive or are positive. So this includes all the cadres, not only the nurse or the porter. It includes the doctors, everybody involved with patient care.
The Ministry of Health has recorded 19,186 cases of COVID-19 to date. There are 484 active cases in the country, of which 475 on Maé, 7 on Pralin, and 2 on La Digue. There are 3 new deaths, bringing the total number of deaths to 101. Since the beginning of August, the rolling day average has remained around 50. The Ministry of Health continues to call on the community to observe all preventive measures as the risk of infection in the community remains significant. The Industrial Estate Authority has collected 12.6 million rupees from January to mid-August. This is more than the revenue collected for 2020, which was 11.2 million rupees. This was announced by the Minister for Investment, Entrepreneurship and Industry, Debbie Capidot, during a press conference this afternoon, where she also said that the moratorium on land in the industrial zone has been lifted.
One important policy is that a person who has previously benefited from industrial land will not be permitted to benefit from more, to be allocated with more industrial land. The allocation of land will be done in accordance to priority sectors. Land will be done through a tender process because the waiting list that we have and the number of available land that we have, the difference is so vast. So there is a much more demand than the supply that we have. So a tender process is the most fair and just way to go about the allocation. In terms of the point system that has been devised, one important parameter that we have included as part of the point system is the financial capability for someone to develop their land. This is because we have encountered a number of instances in the past where people just purchase the land and leave it idle in the hopes that they can find a prospective buyer, and then they end up selling the land for a massive profit. One other important parameter is in terms of the provision for space of micro, small, and medium enterprises. So people who benefit from land will be requested to provide within their plan to make provisions for workshops or spaces that will be leased out to small businesses. Land applicants will have to make their application on their names as sole traders or on behalf of a company. Applications on behalf of partnerships will not be entertained anymore. This is due to the number of difficulties that IEA has faced in the past to enforce certain actions towards partnerships. Total sum collected by IEA from January to date is 12.6 million rupees. In comparison to last year's figure where we collected 11.2 million rupees. And total sum expected for the year is about 20 million rupees.
The minister responsible for employment, Patricia Francoeur, has ended her visits to several farms where she has seen firsthand the constraints being faced by the agricultural sector. Her last visit was at the Seychelles Institute of Agriculture and Horticulture this morning. Minister Francoeur said that during her visits to 11 farms, she found out that not many Seychellois were taking up farm work. The aim of the visit today was to identify the reason why this is so, going back to the beginning where students start to show interest in agriculture and to find out what causes them to lose interest afterwards. The Kahai Association met with President from Kalawan this morning at State House. During the meeting, they discussed some challenges that the association is facing, including the services at the airport. The chairman of the Kahai Association, Vincent Padayashi, also added that the Kahai operators should improve on their services and quality of cars that they are renting to their clients.
Most of the thing is happening at the airport now. You see, when a client rent a car from the airport and return the car at the airport, and there's a big problem. There's a lot of space, but the management, how they manage the airport parking. So these are the things that we have to address. I think Land Transport, the Ministry of Land Transport have to address that with SCA, because we've been trying to talk to them or whatsoever, but it doesn't work.
What about the time that the transport has to be in a car hire fleet? This is a point to discuss with the president as well, to extend or whatever.
Yeah, no, we don't want to extend, because nowadays you can't rent all cars with the tourists. When the tourists arrive here in the Seychelles, they look at your mileage, they look at your car, if there's a dent or whatsoever, they're quite difficult. So we have to improve ourselves. We're in a good position right now, but we don't want to be in a bad position in 1 or 2 years, you see. So we have to make sure that we organize ourselves now, and next year we have to organize ourselves to make sure that the level of service that we are giving the tourists is to their expectation.
SBC's agencies are expected to have a new array of programs through a cooperation with India. After 3 years in the making, SBC signed a mutual agreement with Prasha Bharati India and its TV division, Doordarshan, one of the world's largest public broadcaster. The programs will be in the field of culture, education, science, entertainment, sports, and news. The MOU was signed by the CEO of SBC, Berena Dupré, and the High Commissioner of India, Dalby Suhag, for Prasha Bharati India. In the immediate, there will be an exchange of skills in production that could bring a touch of Bollywood in the local series La Flamme, and an exchange in engineering to ensure the new SBC house will be on the proper standard. Mr. Dupré says the exchange will give Seychellois audience a chance to discover India without having to go there, and in similarity with the Russian, French, and Chinese channels on its DTT platform.
That gives more variety to what we are offering from the free-to-air broadcasters, meaning that you don't pay to see, to view it. And more importantly, to allow the Indian community and Indian diaspora who are here in Seychelles to have easier access to content and programs from their home country. We are thinking especially some of the workers, expatriate workers that are working in the construction industry or the agricultural sector, who may not have the money to pay access to paid content from other platforms, so that they are able to actually get it free of charge via our DTT platform or through our radio.
And President River Ramkalawan has addressed the 41st summit of the SADC. In his address held virtually, President Ramkalawan highlighted cooperation as one of the main values and principles that shape the regional integration agenda of SADC. He brought to the fore common issues relevant to the SADC member countries, such as terrorism, maritime security, good governance, and the COVID-19 pandemic, to name a few. He called on the SADC community to take bold and innovative actions to achieve the goals of sustainable development, alleviating poverty, and enhancing the standards and quality of life for the people of Southern Africa through regional integration. This was a news summary. Thank you for your attention.